The reason for the North American International Powertrain Conference venue is that here in North America, the powertrain leaders really had no venue, no conference to get together at, and I'm talking about the OEM leaders, the supplier, tier 1 leaders, the government leaders, energy company leaders, consultant leaders, etc. They needed a venue where they could get together and strategically chart a course for powertrains in North America over the next 20 to 30 years.
In 2003, some of us in the powertrain industry had a vision to have a conference in North America dedicated to the automotive powertrain business along the lines of the Vienna event in Europe. So we envisioned a conference where we could discuss the regulatory issues, the technology solutions, and the energy supply and availability among the industry leaders freely without any media presence and such.
When we decided to found the NAIPC, the reason was to give us a format, a venue in which we could have frank, open discussions concerning topics that were relevant to our industry without having to go through the formal preparation of technical papers, but do it within a community that was knowledgeable about the topic and was interested, concerned about the topic, and gave us a method for, I think, some very good feedback.
The fact that the group immediately went to SAE to become a cornerstone of the planning, I think was really important, because this really is a very different boutique conference that you don't normally see from the standpoint of it really addresses strategic issues from, let's say, a 25,000 foot level down to versus a 5,000 foot level. And it's an invitation only, which means that the right type of people are going to be invited to this conference.
Participation in the North American International Powertrain Conference really enabled GM to reaffirm its powertrain strategy and then add to it and modify it as we learned more conference after conference.
The major powertrain consultancies played a key role with the OEMs in the development of future technology, from long-range planning all the way through to execution of programs. I think the alignment of the consultancy suppliers and the OEMs was crucial to having a supply chain that was effective in delivering new technologies into the marketplace.
It really is about priorities, and I mean, we have put priority on what we've understood from the conference. So have we modified our strategies with respect to electrification? Potentially, I think I could say we have a little bit. And same goes for the traditional powertrains, that it is either validation that, hey, we're on track, this is what we're hearing, or we need to modify that strategy based on the latest developments.
Really interesting about this kind of conference and the perspective from a Japanese company, and bringing some of my executives from Japan here to have the opportunity to meet in a casual environment with not only our customers, but also some of the industry people as well, and be able to have a kind of discussion and understanding of where the industry is moving as a whole. This is something my Japanese colleagues really don't have an opportunity to do in most places, but this venue, this size, the time we have to do it is really good for this aspect of the communication, I guess, within the industry.
I think the uniqueness of networking at the NAIPC is small group of similar like-minded individuals with similar responsibilities for leadership in the powertrain industry can come together and not only make connections, but make connections with substance that allow for a debate and discussion of key concepts and fundamental decisions that you need to make in the powertrain leadership world.
For OEMs to be successful in this industry, we have got to have the buy-in and support of the Tier 1 suppliers. This conference is an enabler to do just that. Not only from the material that's presented, but also the business relationships that get developed during the conference through the networking activities.
We certainly know that NAIPC, through the surveys that SAE has done, that networking is really the key ingredient to this conference. You know, by design, we only invite 200 plus people, and if we provide the time and we provide the one-on-one opportunities that no other conference that I have been either here or in anywhere else in the world provides. From our perspective, it also allows us to do get to know people on a personal basis and not just only professional.
At our powertrain conferences, we had some very lively debates. In fact, I vividly remember a lively debate with EPA. And it was so lively that we had to take it offline at the conference. And then in addition to that, we had several subsequent meetings thereafter. And while they were tough, and in some cases a little frustrating, we both, EPA and General Motors, benefited from those discussions. And quite frankly, there would have been no other way to get into those kind of discussions.
Some of the highlights of the keynote speeches have included Gene Kranz, perhaps not totally relevant to our topic of powertrain, but clearly relevant to the topic of accomplishing great objectives given a situation with ambiguous information.
One of my most memorable events in the last 10 years at the NAIPC conferences was in 2006, when through the presentations from the energy supply industry, we learned that we were headed for a crisis in the country. We could have an energy independence issue that we might be faced with.
One of the highlights of the conference was the ability to interface with Bruce Yandel, the Emeritus Dean of College of Business at Clemson University and a world-class economist, former head of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I found his participation, his insight into both domestic and international markets incredibly interesting and valuable for us.
I gotta tell you, one of the most memorable moments I have is when Vinod Khosla spoke the first time. And he got up on stage, I think this was in Washington, and he said, "Oh, I've got 120 slides here." And all of a sudden my heart kind of sank. I thought, oh man, as part of the organizing group, we've made a big mistake here. And by the time he got done, I wanted to see all 120 slides.
Do I see this conference relevancy throughout the coming years? I do, mainly because it's managed to stay relevant from its inception until now, and the technology has moved at just breakneck speed, and it's going to continue to do so. And so we're going to need opportunities like this conference provides to have the same sharing of information, to ensure that our direction is correct and be able to bounce that direction off our colleagues, both in other OEMs, in the government, and in the supply base.
Looking at the changes that occurred in the last 10 years of this conference, I'm looking forward to the next 10 years of this conference because I believe it'll be more dynamic, with more variety and more creativity and more challenges for us to address. The regulatory and technical challenges that we have are tougher than we've ever seen, and blending benefits for all of the stakeholders make for another decade of vibrant debate and information exchange.
As an engineer with 40-plus years in this industry, I think my personal involvement in this has been absolutely a career highlight for me. It's not only the planning, but the execution and the actual participation. What I see in front of us, though, is that we don't have any choice in what this conference is going to be in 10 years. It has to be relevant because the challenges in front of the industry over the next 10 years to reach the goals that have been agreed upon and set is tremendous.